Good morning, fellow fans, and that's PHANS of Phantom of the Paradise. Um, just one more video, well, maybe, about the differences between the quote-unquote Swan Song cut and the theatrical cut of the movie. I believe I said in my review of the Swan Song cut that there were three instances where, despite Brian De Palma agreeing to remove the words Swan Song, you could still see signs that said Swan Song. Actually, it's not three, it's 15. I rewatched the theatrical version last night and realized that these were instances that simply remained in both cuts. They're more prevalent in the Swan Song cut because you don't cut away and the focus is sharper. But they are in order of appearance. When Winslow shows up at the Death Records office, on the outside of the building, the signs still say Swan Song Enterprises as he enters. When he's thrown out by the security guards in the theatrical release, it says Death Records. In the Swan Song cut, it still says Swan Song Enterprises. Also, in the theatrical cut, reversed in the glass in Mary Margaret Amato's office, it says, you can barely read Swan Song Enterprises, it just says Enterprises, but it says Swan Song Enterprises clearly in the Swan Song cut. On the closed circuit TV camera in the round room where Winslow hides himself out to meet up with Swan, on the side of the CCTV camera, it says Swan Song in the theatrical cut. Outside the Death Records record storage facility, there's a big sign that says Swan Song as Winslow's breaking in with the crowbar. Also, briefly, but again, they softened the focus in the theatrical release, but you can still see on the 45 boxes of the Juicy Fruits Faust, it says Swan Song, and then Death Records under it, Faust, as he's smashing up the boxes. Also on the record press itself, before it collides with his face, you can see it says Swan Song on the label. Also off to the left of the record press, briefly, if you look in the corner, it just says Song, but obviously that was Swan Song in the same font and script that they used, which was somewhat unique. The poster outside the Paradise, which I mentioned in the Swan Song cut because it's in focus and it's really gorgeous, is out of focus, but it still says Swan Song Enterprises presents the Juicy Fruits Faust. Later, Juicy Fruits is pasted over and Beef is pasted over it, but you don't see that in the theatrical release. You do see it in the Swan Song cut. They never posted Phoenix over, which I thought was interesting. Also, outside the Paradise, and again, they defocused it in the theatrical release, there is a banner that says Swan Song above the banner that says Paradise Limited on the front of the theater as Winslow's going in. In Swan's balcony, during the scene where they're doing the rehearsal for upholstery and the Phantom first shows up, behind Swan, you can see a very large swan-shaped sign that says Swan Song on it, and that is repeated more than 3 times in the film. I think it's like 6 or 7 times, actually, that particular sign. On the videotape player inside Swan's sanctum, and I realized that, I didn't know how Winslow got in, and I realized that there is a logical explanation for that. In the first scene where he meets Swan, he's standing outside the room while Swan activates the bending lamppost that opens the room. So he knows how to get in because he saw that in that scene. On the videotape player, anyway, in the sanctum, it says Swan Song in the first cut. Then when he cuts back to it, it's blacked out, but you do see it briefly. And I mentioned in the press conference where he announces Beef, from a distance, it still says Swan Song. When they close up, they obviously hastily pasted over a Death Records dead bird symbol over it. But it's very shaky, and it's obvious that they had to do it optically. They didn't have CGI back then. During Beast's rehearsal of The Beauty and the Beast, on the drum kit, on the main snare drum, it says Swan Song. Also on the camera in Beef's dressing room, after he hears Winslow scream, he says, "What's that? What was that?" A camera focuses on him and says Swan Song on the side of it. And finally, Beef's shower towel, as he's going to take his shower, has a colorful Swan Song label on it. Even the cigarettes on his desk are called swans, and it's not swans as in more than one swan. It's swans as Swan apostrophe S as in belonging to Swan. Everything belongs to Swan in the movie, including the cigarettes. So that's, again, a great way to show Swan's total control of everything in his domain. I hope you enjoyed that. There's just a very brief explanation. It doesn't contain any spoilers about the main plot, but those are 15 instances where Swan Song is still visible, despite Peter Grant's rather presumptuous insistence that De Palma remove any reference to Swan Song and Swan Song Enterprises.